time. When I'ma come through, can you get me?
Hi lovies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Roxanne Simone, your new makeup bestie. In today's video, we created this very colorful look, and if you want to know how I created, please keep watching. One of the major steps when doing your makeup is that your skin prep has to be on point. If your skin prep isn't on point, best believe your end result will not be like what you want it to be. For me, before anything, you need to cleanse your face. Do a slight exfoliation, like you can exfoliate a bit to take off dead skin, any dry patches that you might have. And before anything, I already have sunscreen on. This is one of my favorite moisturizers to use. It's the Good Molecules lightweight daily moisturizer. And this is just to moisturize the face. This is the Essence Jelly Grip Under Eye Primer. It's supposed to be cool because you're like, why doesn't my face look like yours? You're not skin prepping. Okay, after I've added my moisturizer, I'm gonna go in the 1010 Barrier Boost. I like extra moisture, and if I'm gonna be wearing makeup all day, I am definitely going to add additional moisture to my face. When applying any product at all to your face, you should allow each product to dry down before you go in with the other. This is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm. This is in the Universal shade, the translucent. Honestly, what's one product that you added to your routine that changed the game for you? This would be mine. Ever since I added it to my routine, I wish it was here sooner. Tips I would give you on your eyebrows: if you have non-existent brows or they're very sparse, I would advise you can microblade them or learn a technique like follow the shape of your eyebrow. For me, I have really full brows, and what I do is get them groomed. I groom them myself. This is what I'm using. I like to use a brow gel. It doesn't have to be any specific. This is the NYX Professional Makeup, the brow glue, and this is what I use. I just add it to my brow. I let it get tacky, and then I kind of just press them down just to let them lay a bit because I like the laminated look. I'm not gonna fill my brows, maybe wherever I have some sparse hairs, but that's not important at this point. After I've laid down all my skin products, what I like to do is color correcting. Kind of non-negotiable for me. I always do color correcting, and I've realized over time color correcting helps your makeup to look more seamless. For me, I have hyperpigmentation and blemishes, and this just gives me an additional layer of coverage. So it helps to cover up those imperfections that I have on my face. This is the Kosas Revealer Extra Bright Powdered Serum Color Corrector, and this is in the shade Alchemy. So depending on your skin tone, they have different shades that might work for you. You have one that's richer than this one. It's more of a red hue. You have way lighter ones as well. So depending on your skin tone, you need to get one that would match better or match perfectly with you. Not necessarily perfect, but one that will work for your skin tone. And what I like about this color corrector, I don't have to set it. I really just put it where I want it. I buff it out and it dries down to like a powdery consistency. And she gets the job done. So when I tell you, I do it under my eyes, and I do it to spot correct as well. I'm always using a high-end foundation, but today I'm going to give you the option of using a more budget-friendly drugstore brand. This is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This is in shade 53 Deep Neutral. It's one of my favorite foundations to wear, especially for our everyday look. It's medium to buildable coverage. It's a satin finish, but it doesn't matter the finish of a foundation. If you want it glowy, less powders, depending on your setting spray. For me, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do today. How I like to apply my foundation is on a palette because I'm gonna use a flat brush to apply it. So what I do is I squeeze a little, maybe 1, 2. I start off with 4 pumps. It's not a lot, like that. And again, this is in shade 53 Deep Neutral. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use a flat brush. Any flat brush will work. And I'm just going to almost paint it onto my face. Just like this. See? And to blend it out, I'm going to use a BK Beauty 101 foundation brush. And this is how I like to press the product into my face. So when applying cream products, you want to press it into the face instead of swiping it, because we're not trying to create streaks in the face. And I'm going to repeat the same step on the next side. In truth and in fact, we don't need a high-end foundation to get a really pretty smooth base, because this is, why my ears look like that? Because this is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This is, I'm wearing shade 53 Deep Neutral. I did a bit of color correcting just around my mouth and my blemishes. But if you look at this finish, it's very radiant. It says satin finish, but this is more on the hydrating side. I have combination to oily skin, and let's be honest, this looks really good. The proof is in the pudding. So after we've done our foundation, we're going to do a little bit of contour, because foundation, this is fine, but I like a full coverage, even when I say I'm going soft. For contour, and we're going to contour right now, and I'm using the Rare Beauty liquid contour, and this is in shade Tranquil. Contouring, I say in every video, but if you're new here, contouring creates dimension. It mimics shadows where they naturally would be in our faces. I like to contour this 5 head, and you'd say the hollows of the cheek, so not too low down. And whenever you're placing your cream products, you want to be intentional with where you place them. This is when you're shaping your face. So we're shaping the face right now, so be intentional where you're placing them, because you don't want to drag our faces down. We have our contour down, and what I'm going to use to blend this out is a dense brush. You can use any dense angled brush. This is one I got off Shein. For contour, I'm going to do the same. It's like a tapping motion, and I'm just buffing it on spot. So we're not spreading it, because we're not trying to create mud. We're going to buff it and press it into the skin. And as you can see, we're already creating like this shadow right here. For the 5 head, I'm going to buff it, but I'm not dragging it down. I'm bringing it up. So for contour, we want to blend upwards in a way. We're not spreading it, but we're blending upwards and like lightly feathering it out. So like with this into the hairline. I like to put a little bit more on my nose, because I already have a, what do you call? What kind of nose is this? If you don't know the shape of your face, you can go into Chat GPT. I use a picture. I use like a front-facing picture, like a headshot, and I asked Chat GPT what shape face do I have, and it said oval heart shape. So I see the oval, the heart shape. I guess it's trying to say my forehead is big. Remember 2 years ago, it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago, when sunset blush was a thing. So we're doing something for the summer, and we're going to be using, and I'm going to be using 2 blushes. I'm using the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch liquid blush. I think that's what's the name, that's the name. And the e.l.f. Camo liquid blush, and this is in shade, so Pinky Promise and Joy, shade Joy to orange shade. For blush placement, some people put concealer before blush or blush before concealer. I like to put my blush down first, because I like to diffuse my concealer into it. Okay, so I'm gonna go down with the orange blush first, and I'm placing it almost on the high points of my cheeks like this. And sometimes your blush, depending on the shade, it will act as a color corrector as well. And then I'm going to put the pink shade right here. And this, I'm just going to use this to like stipple it down, stipple it. So I'm going to buff and slightly bring it up under my eyes. And then we're going to bring it around, bring it slightly under the eyes, and feather it out into the hairline. Whenever I try a new product and I love it, I stick to it. Recently, I tried out the Chalotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Blur Concealer. I was using shade 9 Tan, and I would say this is my brightening shade. And then I went ahead and got a deeper shade. I got a deeper shade, one closer to my skin tone. So when doing my concealer, I like to use 2 different shades. The reason I do this, again, helps me to create more dimension. I like to use a concealing shade, and I'm going to show you how I place my concealer. So again, some people do concealer then blush. I like to do blush then concealer. Elite concealer placement for a snatch look. I place a little on the outer portion of my eyes. I do place some right here and here. A little, I don't do too much on the nose anymore if you want to, but I'm not trying to reshape my nose because I'm okay with it the way it is. But if you want it snatched, you can do more. My Cupid's bow, the bridge of the nose, a little bit of reverse contour, and a little right here. And then with my brightening shade, this is shade 910. I'm just gonna put a little right here because we love a bright under eye over here. If you struggle with concealer creasing under your eyes, probably not doing enough prep, maybe your under eyes are too dry, so I would advise you a under eye cream, under eye primer, moisturizer, something under your eyes if you have dry under eyes. I'm oily to combination, but I do tend to get a bit dry under my eyes, so ever since I implemented eye cream, that's helped a lot. You want to ensure you're not putting too much concealer under your eye. I remember when we used to place concealer and it was like a big triangle. You don't need to use a lot of products. It's a lot of steps, but not too much product. It's better to go in with a little than to go in with a lot because you can add as you go along. So under eye cream, try not to use too much concealer. I'm also giving the concealer time to dry down. You do want to allow the concealer to dry down, and if you allow it to dry down, you get more coverage, more payoff. Okay, to buff out my concealer, I'm gonna use an angled concealer brush. This is the BK Beauty A506 brush, and I'm gonna start from the outer portion and work my way in because I still want the under eye to dry down a little bit. So let's start on the chin area, buff that out. And when buffing out your concealer, again, you don't want to swipe, you dab and blend on spot. The reverse contour right here, Cupid's bow. Just want to take your time and blend that out right in the middle of the forehead. And I'm blending out in real time. So as I said, if you allow the concealer to dry down, it's going to give you way more coverage. So for the under eye, I'm starting on the outer portion. When blending out the concealer, you just want to take your time, blend it on spot, and slightly feather it into the blush. Same, so whatever you do on one side, you want to mimic it on the next side. Because obviously, for the bright under eye, we don't want to spread it under the entire eye. We start from the outer portion and we slightly feather it out. So again, when blending out your concealer, you want to blend it on spot. So that's where you're going to blend it. We're not going to spread it under the entire under eye. And because we allowed it to dry down a bit, it's not going to spread everywhere. Whenever you've placed on all your cream products, you want to go in with your foundation brush and buff the edges together, because if you don't buff them and then you set the face, you're going to set all those harsh lines. So just go in with your foundation brush. There's barely any product in it. And just buff the edges. We have all our cream products down. We're going to set it. What I'm going to use to set the face is the Easy Bake, the Huda Beauty Easy Bake. This is in the shade Banana Bread. I'm going to use a triangular powder puff. Dip it into the product just like so. Scrape off the excess. And I'm going to pat it on the back of my hand because I'm not baking. I just like to lightly set my under eye before I go in with extra powders. So you want to ensure that you buff any crease that might be there before you set it, because if you set those cream products that have seeped into the creases, it's going to be a set crease eye. And then you just go in. The Easy Bake has a bit of coverage. The Easy Bake. Look at that. And I'm always inspired by color, and this is the eye look that we came up with. People might say you don't need to use an eyeshadow primer, but I beg to differ. For you to get the most vibrant payoff or for your colors to show up more, I suggest you use an eyeshadow primer. Some people use concealer. I use concealer as well, but when you use a concealer, you have to set it. You have to set it, because the powder tends to mix into it. I'm not sure what the ingredients are in eyeshadow primers or eyeshadow bases, but even when you put them down and you put your shadow on it, it doesn't mix into it. One of my favorite eyeshadow bases to use is the P. Louise eyeshadow, P. Louise base. And this one, they have different shades. This one is Rumor 4. With a fluffy brush, I'm gonna start off with my transitioning color. I'm using this Narvina, the ABH Narvina collection. This is in volume 3, warm tone shades. Start off with maybe like a light brown shade, and again, and I'm using a fluffy. So this is my transitional shade, and I'm just using this to create like a base color for what I'm gonna work with. I'm gonna go in with some orange. But this is not a cut crease. That's why I say it's pretty, it should be easy for you to attempt. It doesn't have to be the same thing. So I'm using an orange shade almost in the outer crease, and I'm blending it out. You need the right tool. So like I'm using a fluffy blending brush right now, and you just need to take your time and blend the product. Whenever you think you're done blending, you gotta blend some more bright orange just to create the depth of the colors. Just like that. One thing though I love with this palette, with the Narvina palettes, they are super pigmented, and you want to go ahead and blend the edges out. So whenever you're doing your eyeshadow, you think you're done blending, you blend some more. So I'm just going in with the eyeshadow primer again and just lightly tap it on the lid just to create like a cleaner base with the shade that I'm gonna put down next. Right top shade right here and right here, and pack it onto the lid. The blue portion, I'm gonna go in with the base again, with the eyeshadow base, and I'm gonna put a little bit right in the inner corner. And you use the base so that your shadows can show up more pigmented. If I were to go directly in with the blue eyeshadow, you would see, but it wouldn't be as pigmented as not using a base. Blue, again, I'm using a bunch of palettes. I'm using the Be Perfect Carnival XL palette. I've had her for a while. And I'm going to go in with a very light blue shade. And I'm just going to pat this in. Just like so. And again, as I said, a look like this should be easy to attempt because you're really just, we're not doing a cut crease. We're just packing color onto the lid and blending. So really this look is all about blending, and whenever you can go in at any given time and reinforce the colors that you did put down. These shimmer sticks off Amazon. This is what it looks like. And I'm just gonna use a little bit. It gives a wet effect, so look how pretty that shimmer is. Reinforce what we have over here so you can see it. And we do need to add some blue to the brow line on this side as well. I'm just gonna go ahead and like stamp it onto the brow line. To make sure wherever two different colors meet, you want to blend them, diffuse their edges, because you don't want it to be obvious, like damn. That we have our face down, we are going to add some color to the face. So for bronzer, all the time, it's my Fenty Beauty Sunstalker, and this is in Mocha Mami. I'm using an angled fluffy brush, and this is the BK Beauty A507 brush. And I'm just going to reinforce, like wherever you add your bronzers, where you add your cream contour, or where you want to add warmth and color to the face. So I just dab it into the product and I just stipple it onto the face. And we're gonna go on this 5 head, and we're just gonna press that in, press that into the skin. And we want to feather it upwards. I like a bronzy nose because why not? So I just buff some down the bridge of my nose. Is that too much? Maybe not. And we want to do the jawline as well. What we're gonna do is add some blush. I want to use 2 different shades of blush with the Huda Beauty Blush Filter Palette, and this is in the shade Toasty Peach. So we're using hues of oranges, pinks, you get the gist. So a transitional shade. So I'm gonna start off with this one right here. This is the angled blush brush. And we're gonna start off right here, right under the outer portion of the eye. I'm gonna slightly build it up. I like to bring my blush a little bit up under the eye, just like so. I'm just going to lightly pack it on. Outer portion, this is the House Labs Color Fuse Blush. This stuff is very pigmented, so please go lightly. When you pick it up, you want to dust it off. That was a lot. And I'm just going to lightly pack this upwards and feather it out. This blush is so pretty. Just like so. I'm just going to lightly. And whatever you do on one side, you do the same on the other. And then for my under eye, because I do love a bright under eye, the MCO Beauty Press Powder, she's been doing rounds. I use a powder puff, I rub it into it, and then I slightly diffuse, and then I go directly under the eye. It does blur. Just like that. And then a little bit reverse contour. And the same thing under the other eye. This stuff is filter in a pan, and then just to get rid of some of the oils that are right here. To melt all this together, I'm just gonna go in with my Milani Make It Last, the original one, and I just use this just to melt the powders and get rid of the powdery look. Just like that. For the lips, I'm really going to wing it. I like to add a little bit of powder to the lips. This allows the products to glide on smoother. So for the lip liner, I'm really winging it. For the liner, I'm gonna use the NYX Line Node Lip Pencil. I'm gonna use this to line my lip. I'm gonna go in with this Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink, and this is in shade Self Starter.
Anyway, baby, just name
A little bit, so I'm gonna use this NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream, because why does it look so orange on there?
I'm playing new sounds while the wind blows over it. Checking my maps, heading a stack, keep it intact. Do me a favor, girl.
And I'm just gonna add a little bit of sparkly gloss. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills.
I finally made it, girl.
If you've made it to the end of the video, I hope it was very easy for you to follow along. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask down below in the comments. Before you go, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn your notifications on so you know whenever I upload a future video. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
You got something that's showing what's underneath. Still you expect me to make it do pleasantries, baby, I'm yours.